Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam, Vishaje Bhavaroginam, Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam, Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Hari Om. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Vedas literally means knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of life, existence. Questions such as who am I? What is this universe? What is God? What is the purpose of my existence on this planet? And many more questions have been answered in these texts. You can't call them texts, these are the recordings of the insights of the enlightened. And out of compassion, they have shared them with us. There are basically 4 aspects of the Vedas. They are called as Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Vedanta or Upanishads. Samhita means mantras, chantings, intonations. All these are different ways of uplifting our life, attaining the skills to overcome the challenges of life. So, Samhita mainly deals with mantras. That's why the first thing that we do for an individual is when they do Upanayana is they give them, they initiate them into a mantra. The mind is distracted, the mind is all over the place. Just to bring this mind to some sort of stability, some sort of one-pointedness, a mantra is given to you. And different mantras have different impacts. The next level is the ritual. It's called Brahmana. So, Brahmana part of the Vedas deals with rituals. The rituals are a bit more one step further than the mantras, where you use many more mantras and you create a structure to create an energy field. And then we have Aranyaka. Aranyaka are mainly the practices, the sadhana which we do. It is called Aranyaka because this was part of the Vanaprastha ashrama. So when as a grihastha, as a brahmachari, you are expected to learn the scriptures. As a grihastha, you are expected to perform the rituals, honor the deities. And as in the Vanaprastha, you are supposed to get into the discipline of seeking the self. And then finally you have got the Vedanta. Vedanta is just, the purpose of that is the realization. That is the role of the sannyasi. So very broadly the Vedas are divided into two aspects, Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda, the purpose of Karma Kanda is to bring prosperity in life. And the purpose of Jnana Kanda is to bring forth liberation, freedom. So there are various aspects of that. We will look into this. So the Karma Kanda was basically proposed for the Grihastha, as the Jnana Kanda was for the sannyasi. And Karma Kanda was mainly for attaining prosperity in the world, to be successful, to have health, to have good relationships, to be healthy, wealthy, wise and prosperous, all that we seek in our prayers as a householder, that comes under Karma Kanda. But in Jnana Kanda, it is not about convenience, comfort, it is about becoming free, it's about liberation. And among the Purusharthas, we have got the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama are addressed in the Karma Kanda, whereas Moksha is addressed in the Jnana Kanda, in the path of knowledge. In the Karma Kanda, the main understanding is that the world is real, you are also real. Depending upon the karmas, that's the actions and the impressions that has been generated through many lifetimes, you experience what you experience. And the purpose of the practices prescribed in this part of the Vedas is how to reduce the impact of the karmas and how to prevent accumulating more new karmas that can impact your life. And the path there is yoga and bhakti. Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, or you can call Sankhya and Bhakti. In Sankhya, what do you say? There is Prakriti, there is Purusha, there is matter and there is spirit. Spirit is stronger than matter, but matter is the distraction. And how do we overcome the influence of matter? Through skill, through discipline, by managing the mind. The whole system of yoga is managing the mind, so that you don't accumulate new karmas and you mitigate the impact of the existing karmas. For that you need discipline, commitment, what's called dhruti. Bhakti is the path of devotion. In the path of bhakti, what you say is, my suffering is because of a wrong attachment to the matter. I am attached to the material world. I don't have the strength or discipline to overcome this attachment. So what do? Anyway, I know what attachment is, how to get attached. I will dissociate my attachment with the world and associate the same attachment with the divine. So you impose all your attachment onto the divine. And for that you need to drop the significance of yourself. You need to realize that I am insignificant. I am weak, I am unable to overcome this, and there is a power higher than me, because of which all this is happening, and by surrendering to which I start attaining those qualities very easily. And both these paths of yoga and bhakti, or the part of which deals with mitigating the karma aspect of life, needs effort, is time bound. You need to be focused, you need to be able to go through that without resistance. Then we have got the Jnana Kanda of the Vedas, also called as the Upanishads or the Vedanta part. Here it completely ignores the existence of the material world. It says the material world is like a dream. Yes, it appears very real, just like everything appears very real to you in your dreams. But the moment you wake up, you realize that, oh, this was just a dream, this was just my projection of my mind. This actually is not going to impact my life, and you are able to brush it off. And this inability to brush it off is because of this layer of Maya, which makes you think that the dream is real. When you are in stupor, when you are in unawareness, then the Maya overtakes you. So the unreal appears real. And thus the only way to overcome this ignorance is through knowledge. And to pursue this path, what you need is a mature intellect. An intellect which is stationed in awareness, where there is Viveka. And this is instantaneous. The impact of the knowledge part is instantaneous. This, when we go through the shlokas, when we do some meditations, we will see that the moment we are able to put that into practice, at that moment you can experience the freedom. At that moment you can experience the impact of the suffering lessening automatically. Now the question comes, well, the knowledge part says you are consciousness, you are bliss, you are Satchidanand, but why is it that I don't experience this bliss? I know it as a theory, but I don't experience it as a bliss all the time. Most of the time it is a bit of a struggle for me. Why can I not experience the bliss which I am anyway? For that, the Upanishad says you need certain qualifications, you need certain refinement to see the truth as it is. And those are the 4 qualifications. So, when you establish yourself with the 4 qualifications, then you will be able to have access to this knowledge and experience the impact of this. So, Vedanta, which is the 4th aspect of the Vedas, or the knowledge part of the Vedas, literally it means end of knowledge, but it does not mean that knowledge ends. What it means is, once you know this, there is nothing else to know. It is the pinnacle of knowledge. Okay? And the 3 main scriptures which are described as part of Vedanta are Brahma Sutras, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes when you go through these, some aspects of them appear very theoretical, very impractical, something like as if they are going on top of your head. And just to make sure you get what they are saying, we need some other supports, and these Prakarana Granthas, or the introductory texts, they emphasize a little bit more on the foundational aspects as the stepping stones. Once you step on them and you realize, then it's easy to make that jump into knowledge. So the prerequisites to get into Vedanta or to experience what the Upanishads are saying is the 4 qualifications. What are they? You know this. Viveka. Viveka is this ability to differentiate between the permanent and the impermanent. The very fact that you are sitting here shows that you have got some degree of Viveka in you, because you have deprioritized many other things and you have prioritized being here. That is part of Viveka, knowing that this is important. This is going to make a transformation in my life. I need to know something. I need to participate in it. That is Viveka. When you are not clear in your mind between these 2 aspects of life, that which is important, that which is not important, that which is temporary, that which is permanent, you hold on to the temporary thinking as if it is permanent. You hold on to the unimportant, making it important, and thus you does not come out of the ignorance and thus suffering. The next step is Vairagya. Vairagya is being able to let go of the material world, being able to let go of the desires, being able to say, I am okay whether it turns this way or that way, being able to focus and engage in your responsibilities without holding on too much to what you are going to get out of it, without being result oriented. That is Vairagya. In this world or in the other world, when you are not seeking something to do something, that is Vairagya. You are doing everything as an expression of your joy, but not trying to seek or pull joy out of anything. You are okay with the opposites. Ability to live and accept the opposites and move through them joyfully without giving too much importance to the outcome is Vairagya. And Vairagya brings enormous stability to move through life. Because when there is Vairagya, there is stability, there is Sthita Pragnata, you are able to see life more clearly. The knowledge hits you straight where it has to. Then we have the Shat Sampattis. Shama. Shama is what? Shama is tranquility. Being able to receive everything with an equanimous attitude. Not jumping around or not being very excited when something nice is told, or not being too depressed or too scared or too worried, too down when something unpleasant is presented. Being able to see both and being able to take everything as it is Shama. Shama is tranquility, being able to maintain inner peace. Dhamma. See, this Shama, all these qualities we have within us. Same with Vairagya as well, isn't it? When we were small children, if somebody took away some chocolates from us, we would feel so angry, we would feel so upset, we would feel so hurt. But now we are able to move on. As you became a teenager, when your friend didn't smile at you, or when your friend didn't speak to you properly, or when your country lost a cricket match or something, how it would impact you. But now you will still feel it, but you are able to let go and move on. That Vairagya is there already. When you realize the source of a higher joy, the craving for the lower joy drops off. Vairagya automatically comes. So when Viveka dawns in you, when you are able to see, this is important, this I need to focus on, then all the unimportant things stop bothering you. Then Vairagya automatically becomes stronger. And Shama, we have the Shama in us. When things don't appear too important, we are able to take it with peace. What may disturb the child may not disturb the adult, because their priorities are slightly different. Yeah? So Dhamma is having a say over your senses, not being swayed by the senses. Being able to say no when you know it is not good for you, and being able to say yes when you know it is right for you. That is Dhamma. Titiksha. Titiksha is being able to live with the opposites without resistance. Life is full of opposites: pleasure, pain, success, failure. All these are part of life. You cannot escape them. But when success comes, being able to enjoy it. When failure comes, being able to go through that without resistance. Forbearance, that is Titiksha. Uparati. Uparati is, Rati is seeking pleasure externally. Uparati is seeking pleasure by withdrawing. Yeah. So whatever your engagement in the world, every day for some time you withdraw and rest. That you do anyway by sleeping. But when you do it with awareness, that is Uparati. Finding the joy in yourself. Finding joy with what has been given to you, what you already have, rather than trying to seek something externally to fulfill yourself, is Uparati. And then you have got Shraddha. See, if there was no Shraddha, wouldn't have been here. Somewhere you feel that this is important. So many people have talked about it, have written about it. So there must be some truth in it, and I am sure this is going to make some impact on my life. This much of conviction is Shraddha. and samadhana. Samadhana is being able to have a focus, not being very distracted. Coming for one session and then when the next session comes, when something else is there, so I will drop it off. Not being very fickle about things, having a focus and staying with it. Yes, this is important, I am going to hang on to this. That is samadhana. Samadhana once again comes from mature intellect. These are the Shat Sampattis. And when these three pillars or these three qualifications are strong in you, then mumukshutva is automatic. This desire, this thirst for knowledge. I need to know. I need to experience that freedom. I have experienced bliss here and there. I want that to become an inescapable part of my existence. I am ready to do what it takes. That is mumukshutva. To the extent these four pillars of knowledge or these four aspects or these four qualifications are stronger in you, to that extent the knowledge becomes easy for you to understand and experience. Many people think Upanishads are very impractical. They are a bit airy-fairy theories. No, they are the most logically sound texts. If you look at most of the texts, they give solid proof and they have got a very beautiful way of progress. They start with what is obvious and then slowly move on to that which is not obvious. They start with what is known to you, establish you there and then slowly take you deeper and deeper. Yeah, it is a very stepwise and a very practical approach. In fact, if you look at that, bhakti is a very impractical approach. Bhakti is a very illogical approach. Bhakti is based on just a faith and a humility, but Upanishads or the Vedanta is based on proper logic, a very highly profound, special logic which takes you from the known to the unknown. And this text which we are talking, Drik, Drishya, Viveka, nobody knows who the author is. Some says it was text written by Adi Shankara himself, but a lot of other people say this was scripted by Swami Vidyaranya. And if you are from South India, you might know there is a very famous Vijayanagara Empire which was established by two brothers called Hakka and Bukka. And Vidyaranya was his guru, this enlightened master. He has written very many other texts on Advaita Vedanta, but this is something which is very beautiful. And this goes very well with what we are discussing in the Gita, the scenery and the seer. Drik Drishya means that Drishya is the scenery or the scene. Drik is the one who is seeing, the seer. So, with this background, so let us step into the first shloka of Drik Drishya Viveka. And what we will do, we will take a few shlokas every session. We will go deep into it and we will practically experience what the master is telling. Okay, it's the first shloka. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik Tad Drishyam Druktu Manasam Drishyadi Vrittaya Sakshi Drigevanatu Drishyate. So, the literal translation is there. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. All that you see around is the names and forms. That is the scenery. So, we will start from the very obvious bit. How do you see everything? Through my eyes. And what does the eye see? Everything. This body, that window, this wall, everything around me, this color, big, small, bright, dull, everything is seen. All these different names and forms are seen by these eyes. So, the objects of vision are the scenery and the eyes is the seer. Tad Drishyam Druktu Manasam. When this eye itself becomes the scenery, when the eye itself becomes the scenery, then what happens? What is seeing through the eyes? The mind becomes the seer. And when Drishyadi Vrittaya Sakshi, when the rise and fall of activities of the mind, when that becomes the object, that becomes the scenery. Who is the seer? Sakshi. The witness becomes the seer. Drigevanatu Drishyate. This witness is never witnessed. You cannot see the witness. The witness sees everything, but you can't see the witness. So very beautifully they have gone from the very obvious, slowly they have taken a step back, step back, step back and said, see how different these are. The scenery which you see outside is different from the eyes. The mind is different from the eyes, and the witness is different from the mind. This distinction is very, very important. So when you talk about the scenery and the scene and the seer, then you have a few characteristics you need to bear in mind. We will elaborate on this. So one, the scenery and the seer are separate. So now start with the eyes. Okay, we very obviously know that the eyes are separate to what the eyes is seeing. Yeah. Then the next thing to know is what is seen is multiple, is diverse, but what is seeing is one. You may have two eyes, but the vision is one. This one vision sees all the different objects around. The scenery is changing constantly, but the seer is unchanging. The seer sees the scenery, but it's not the other way around. You can see your hands, you can see this object, but this object cannot see you. The subject can always see the object, whereas the object cannot see the subject. Then the Jada and Chetana. Anything you make an object, it becomes Jada, it loses its aliveness, vibrancy. That which is Chetana, that which is seeing, that becomes alive. The seer is alive, is Chaitanya. The seen is Jada, is inert. Finally, the scenery is gross and the seer is subtle. And the gross dissolves into the subtle. This entire universe can be reflected in your eyes. And whatever the eyes can carry is reflected in the mind. That is why in dream, even the eyes are not open, the images are there. And what is happening in the mind, that can dissolve into the self, into the witness. This is exactly what happens when we go to sleep, isn't it? First the external scenery shuts off. Then you are aware of the internal scenery, and then even that shuts off, you are just resting with the self. So this is very important. It is very important to know these 5 characteristics. What? The scenery and seer are separate. The seer is one, the scenery is diverse. The scenery is changing, the seer is unchanging. The seer sees the scenery but not the other way around. The scenery is inert, the seer is more alive. The scenery is gross, the seer is subtle, and the gross dissolves into the subtle, falls back into the subtle. And we explain in a few other shlokas. Neela pita sthula sukshma hrasva dirgadi bhedataha nana vidhani rupani pashyet lochanam ekada. Now, when we speak about these things, just experience practically. This is true. This is what is happening. What does the eye sees? The vision is one, but the images are many. What are the images? Neela pita sthula sukshma. Blue and yellow, different colors. Sthula and sukshma, big and small. Hrasva dirgha. Hrasva is short and long. Bhedataha. These are the difference in the form. All the forms that you see have got differences. There can be different colors, different sizes, different shapes, different lengths. All these are different. Nana vidhani rupani. Pashyet lochanam ekada. But the vision, the eyes which is seeing is one. One vision sees multitude of the myriad of names and forms. So now what he is saying, the outside scenery is diverse, but the eyes which are seeing is unity, is one. It is unchanging. And then he goes one step further. आंध्य मांद्य पटुत्वेषु नेत्र धर्मेषु च एकदा संकल्पयेन मनश्रोत्र त्वचादौ योज्यताम idam. Andhya means when you close your eyes, you don't see, the vision stops. Mandya, when your eyes are not clear, then it is blurred, dull. Patutva, when you are fully alert, you have sharpness in your vision. Netra dharmeshu cha ekada. So eyes has these different qualities. Earlier he said the vision is one, the names and forms are many. Now he is saying the different aspects of the vision as well. It could be no vision, it could be a blurred vision, it could be a sharp vision. But where are all these seen? These are seen in the mind. Sankalpayen mana. These are all seen in the mind actually, it is not seen in the eyes. Many times when you are sleeping, your eyes are half open, but you don't see anything. A dead man's eyes don't see anything. Because the mind is not active. When the mind is active, you see. So these variations of the vision are experienced by the mind, and similar to the vision, the other sense organs as well. Shrotra, hearing, various types of sounds you hear, but the hearer is one. The various type of sensations you feel on the skin, tvacha, but the one who is feeling the sensations is the same, is one. Adav, etc. What else? Smell. You smell various perfumes, various fragrances, good, bad, nice, not nice, but the one who is smelling is one. And taste, various tastes, there is variety in the tastes. So the senses have got multiple responses, but all these are perceived by the one mind. Then he gets one step back. Kama sankalpa sandehau shraddha ashraddha dhriti itare hrir dhir bhir ityevam adi bhasyati ekada chitihi. But he says now the mind is also not one, the mind has many activities. The nature of mind is very variant. There are desires, there are intentions, there are doubts, there are beliefs, there is faith, there is disbelief, there is will, there is strength, there is firmness, there is weakness, there is fragility. Hrir, there is modesty, there is intelligence, there is fear. Like this, there are so many things happening in the mind. Craving, aversions, pleasure, pain, want, don't want, likes, dislikes, plans, ideas, fears, everything. So many things are happening in the mind. But who is illuminating all these things? Because of what? Where is this mind gaining its energy to experience all these things? It is that consciousness. Ekada chitihi, that pure consciousness, once it shines its light on the mind, then all these become very clear. Now we are saying even the mind is not one, the mind has got many different functions, there is variety in the activities of the mind, but the one which is observing this mind is just one. And now he speaks about this one witness. Na udeti, na astameti esha, na vruddhim yati nakshayam, swayam vibhati atha ananyani, bhasayet sadhanam vina. This, we have come back to the witness now. The witness, you can't go back any further now, because the witness can't be witnessed. It is the one which is witnessing everything, and it is the one which stays the same all the time. Na udeti na astamiti, does not rise nor falls. Means what? It is unchanging. In the mind, various activities rise and fall. In the outside world, there is always change. But this witness, there is no change. It does not rise, neither does it fall. Now, vruddhim yati nakshayam. It does not grow, nor does it decay. This body grows and decays. The mind is excited and depressed. But this consciousness is steady. Swayam vibhati ata anyani, nata ananyani. Swayam vibhati means it self-luminous. Atha ananyani, bhasayet sadhanam vina. It not only is self-luminous, It illuminates everything that comes in its influence without needing anything else. The sun is self-luminous. You don't need something to illuminate the sun. But once the illuminated sun shines its light, everything becomes illuminated. Similarly, the pure consciousness of the self is self-luminous, and that luminosity will be reflected on the mind, on the body and every other, and appears to make it bright and alive. So, it does not rise or fall. What he is saying is, this witness is steady, it does not shape or change, and it is luminous. And as we meditate today, we will see that the moment you start withdrawing from the world back to the self, something in you starts waking up. The prana, the energy in you starts standing up. The alertness becomes very still, and then that brings stillness in your whole existence. So, what is happening at that time? The self is now illuminating all your faculties, and you are aware of that faculty. See, the witness and witnessing are two things. The witness is always there, and it is the witness is always indifferent to the happenings. The sun does not shine to brighten something. The brightening or illumination of anything that falls under the light of the sun is its quality, is the quality of that which illuminates. Well, the sun has got no desire to illuminate anything, it is just shining. Similarly, the consciousness is just shining, it is just there witnessing all the time with no desire to illuminate anything or to witness anything, but it is there. But when you become aware of this witness, that becoming aware is witnessing. You witness the existence of the witness. You become aware of the existence of the witness, and then suddenly you start becoming energized and still. Okay, so this should be enough for today. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, it's one homework for you. The homework is what? You have to practice this separation between the layers of your existence. Yeah, before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up, at least these 2 times, you see these differences. Okay, the scenery is different to my eyes or my senses. My senses are different to my mind is different to the witness. Yeah, and see this. It's very easy to see there is difference. Just see this and then see, I am not the scenery, I am neither the mind, I am neither the senses. I am that which is witnessing all the time. Yeah, at least 2 times you should do. When you wake up first thing in the morning for 5 minutes, and then just as you go to sleep, when you are lying in your bed and you are about to go to sleep, do this. Okay, we'll see you next week. Check.